Well, we're live for another day. Get rid of that. Take the trash out. I bought some setup blocks. And I bought some squares. The squares won't be used on model airplanes. They'll be used building my cabinets back in St. Louis. But we're going to use setup blocks on this project. Let me look at these squares real quick. These are assembly squares for cabinets. Yes, indeed. Perfect. So we got 4 of each size. Yep, 4 of each size of these plastic squares for assembly. The setup blocks are for router and saw setup. However, we're going to use them for measuring. If you remember yesterday, I had a small issue with getting my ribs to go down on the spars correctly. Well, there's 2 things I'm going to do. After looking at these setup blocks, there's 8 pieces. They go from 16th to 7/8. Oh, sorry. We're going to use the 3/16 setup block. 1 to set the gauge, and 2 to put a piece of sandpaper on this to sand a perfect 3/16. And that yeah, see, those are not at a perfect 3/16. So that'll work. Let's cut a spar and see how it works. I got my little helmet. This is my pilot for this airplane. Now this piece of wood has a crown in it. We're going to get rid of that crown, or basically join it. First thing we're going to do is straighten this puppy out. I found a piece of tubing that I can use as a sander. Boy, that's a hard spot there. Okay, so next, I'll take this. Yeah, that's why That's a perfect square. So that was a good idea, good investment. However, these notches aren't perfect because I didn't sand it with a perfect stick. But we'll fix that. So let's take this out. Come on. We'll fix that one as we go. So we're back to hollowing ribs. You know, I might as well cut the rest of these spars. I need 2 more. Oh, I'm gonna have to turn this on here. See the chat. Okay. Morning, Paul. Morning, Steve. Great. One of those days, yeah. Yeah, I got my 50 subscribers again. I need about 100, really. It ain't gonna happen because nobody's interested in building these things. The 50 subscribers I got are die-hard control liners, and that's probably all there is in the whole world. Because I don't do any stupid pet tricks or play any music. Okay, you probably wonder why I broke this end off. It's hard on this end, and that'll create a stress riser. So if I break that off, I know to put that on the end, on the outboard side, and it won't create a stress riser. You know, when I joined those, that turned out perfect. So glad we got that done. I don't need this no more for now. No, they haven't. Yeah, happy Saturday, Alan. I wish it was Saturday at John's, but we'll get something done today. Hope John's having a good time with his family. I don't know why that would. Before I ought to change that out. You see how tight that is? This is a true 3/16. The other one was a 3/16 that I cut. So let's fix these. Well, John's sending me an image. Let's get him on the phone.
Hello.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I don't have the fin glued in there yet. I just got it stuck in there.
Yeah.
But it goes all the way down to the stab, down inside the fuselage.
Right.
Yeah, hold it on. But yeah, it's looking pretty good.
How much?
It's all glued together. I haven't weighed it yet.
That's the important part. How much a puppy weigh?
So, I'm still looking to be in the 60-ounce range because, that's what we had figured out prior.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see, I can only do so much with the wood that I have, so.
I bought some setup blocks, some square setup blocks for routers and all that stuff, and I just found another use for it. I'm showing it online right now for sanding jigs.
What, like gauge box or something?
Yeah, they go from 16th to 7/8. They're square. They're not round.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. They come in handy for all sorts of things, something to sand down to or whatever.
Setting my saw, setting my router.
Yeah. Yeah. That's nice.
Well, I don't know what you saw, but I'm building another wing.
Yeah, I saw that. I watched yesterday. I watched last night. I was starting to watch today, and then while I'm sitting here waiting on everybody to come over, they should be starting to show up here pretty soon.
Yeah, I knew family was today, so I didn't even bother.
Yeah. Well, if you wanted to come over tomorrow, that's all right too. But I know how you don't like to do that on Sundays.
Yeah, because then it seems like I don't have a day off.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. So, offer's still there.
Appreciate it.
But the wing's looking good. They're always a pain in the butt if you don't have the trailing edge put in on them.
What do you mean?
If you don't have it glued to the lead trailing edge sheeting and to line the ribs up.
What are you talking about? You think I need
3/16 by a quarter or a half or whatever trailing edge piece that your hinges go into on the half part of the wing.
Yeah.
It gets glued to the sheeting.
Yeah.
How wide did you have to make that sheeting? 1.25 inches?
I made this sheeting. Hey, Paul, thank you very much for the super chat. I made this 1.25 inches, yes.
Mm-hmm. That's what I've been able to make mine. By the time you get a 3/16 or a quarter trailing edge and then almost 1/8 of an inch overhang and all that stuff, you just about have to have 1.25 inches to have anything left up on the wing.
Yeah, I like the 3/4 because it's less weight. But if you're going to have pocket flaps and pocket hinges, you can't do it.
Yeah, you forget about having to account for all that thickness in there. You know, because the trailing edge and all that stuff, it glues on flat flush with the foam. And that's whatever what are you gonna make that out of? 3/16 or a quarter?
I think I brought quarter.
That's fine. That's what I make mine out of, is quarter.
So
I think I did one out of 3/16, but I was so nervous about doing it because that's a very integral part of strength and everything.
Yeah, but that's not what gives it strength. It's the unicoque construction of the thing, the box that you make.
Right, I understand that, but
you could make it out of 16th probably.
Yeah, I'd be pretty scared. I mean, you box the front end with 16th, then you're using 3 different thicknesses of wood, but the little shear webs, all they are is for crush resistance. They're not, to keep the leading edge flat between the ribs. But
well, if you make it tight up against the ribs, it creates a box, and then it becomes structural instead of just crushing,
I understand. Quite well. We've been doing some pretty minimalistic stuff, as far dimensions and all that junk. Really pressing the limits. But that's what it's going to take. It's going to take pressing them maybe even further. You were talking the other night about a cap strip rib or wing.
Yeah.
No ribs in it, just the cap strips like?
Well, it would be very minimal rib, like 3/16 rib with a cap on it, so it's a T,
Les Bird made a wing like an I-beam, but the ribs were cap strips laid on like cap strips instead of an I-beam wing. It had nothing underneath of them. They were just bowed by the spar down to the leading edge and the trailing edge and glued. And it worked. But the structural aspect of it isn't there because you don't have the I-beam, the T section that the ribs form.
That's correct.
So you lose an awful lot of strength and stuff. But it worked. He got it built. He said it was a pain in the butt and it warped and all that stuff, and he had to contend with that. But he said it. He brought it out. He had it covered and everything. Flew it and the whole shebang and hung together, but it was still flexy.
Right.
Even with the covering on it, you could sit there and sort of bow it, twist it, and
well, it needs that T, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah, and it doesn't have to be a lot, Like I hollowed all my ribs out to about a quarter.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, maybe a heavy quarter. But they're fine. I've got more than, almost all my airplanes are built like that. I didn't have wood. I didn't have 4 pound, 3 pound wood or whatever, you know. I had to take wood out. It took the last wing I built, or I'm building on, it took an ounce of weight out of the wing to hollow all those ribs out like that.
Well, because I have time, this is my second airplane. And I'm hoping that the Aegis flies good. Should. But I'm doing the same thing. I'm taking my time and hollowing the crap out of everything. Because I don't have good wood. I have 5 pound wood.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I've been building with. So, being forced, if you can save an ounce, that's an ounce, you know. It could be built in there somewhere else in some other structure.
Right. Or put on in paint.
Correct. Absolutely.
You know, my airplane could use another coat of clear to really make it outstanding, but I just can't bring myself to add another ounce to it.
Yeah, it's tough. You're what? 57 ounces?
Yep.
Yeah. That's still damn good weight. You know, anything sub 60, you know, I always considered 60 power, 60 ounces.
60-inch, 60 ounces.
Yeah. Yeah, 60-inch wingspan, 60 ounces, 60 powered, or 60 something powered.
Good morning, Chris Everson.
And if you get above engine size above 60, you know, like the 75s or whatever, you're still going by that 60 rule, or trying to.
Not everybody. 75, 85 ounces. That's good.
Yeah, I know. Well, I also flew a 75-ounce airplane for numerous years, and they yanked you all over the damn place, and you know, it's just not fun. It gets to be work. You know, so going out and having fun flying isn't there anymore because it's just.
You think we're going to get a good flying date shortly here?
I don't know. They're calling for possible snow here pretty soon, next day or so.
Marvelous.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm thrilled. Well, you know, we're still in, you know, in winter. You know, we had a little short warm spell. Just enough to spoil you.
Did you put a strip between when you cut them open, like in the middle between the spar, top and bottom of your rib?
Yeah, between the spar and the trailing edge,
yeah.
I did about, it's not a quarter, it's about 3/16, just a little thin thing, just a little crush resistance there.
Right.
And then I just measured off the trailing edge, like in the center of the rib, and just stuck them all at that distance down through there so that they look straight anyway.
Well, nobody's going to see it.
No, nobody's going to see it, but I did.
Until you crash, and then I go, look at that mess.
Yeah, things are all over the place. Well, they move as you go because the wing ribs are shorter, you know, as you move out, so it's not exactly center, so you get an average of whatever the center of the big rib is at the root and the tip rib is, and you sort of go by a number there and just put them at that. It works. It's all you need.
Well, I'm going to sew this wing between those, so.
Yeah, well, that'll work. It's worked in the past.
Yeah, I've done it a bunch.
Doesn't add any weight, you know. I don't think you could even measure what that Kevlar thread weighs.
I'm sure there's a measuring tool that can measure it, but we don't have it.
Yeah, I was just watching a video about a guy was measuring how thick a Sharpie marker line is. It's 116 millionths of an inch thick. And it varied depending on whether or not you had a black, a blue, or a red Sharpie marker.
It also depends how much you push down on it.
Yeah, well, they had this precision measuring gauge that they put this mark on a gauge block, and then they measured the top of the gauge block. It wasn't on the marker. The gauge block was between the table and the measuring device, so they weren't measuring right on the ink line. But black was the thinnest, blue was the next, and red was the thickest.
Christopher Everson, thank you for the super chat. Let's show John's airplane here. Let me see if I can get that blown up. Come on. Why won't this thing turn? Yeah. Did you send me 2 pictures?
I thought I just sent you one.
Done. Oh, we got steaks on the Barbie lunch at Dan's. That's what I got.
Oh, well, that was attached to the conversation earlier.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what. Those steaks were 2.5 inches thick. They were delicious. I had dinner. I had lunch. Of course, Dan ate all his. I had lunch. I ate half, and I brought half home, and I had dinner the next night. Potatoes and steak. It was great.
No doubt. He gets some good steaks, I can tell you that.
Let's see if we downloaded this. I want to show everybody a picture of your Junar. No, I can't get it to turn for some reason. So we'll just hold it up here and see how it looks. There's John's Junar XL. Still waiting on the weight.
You're down there weighing. Nobody's here yet, so.
It don't matter. We'll get it next week or whenever.
While we're on here, it'll only take me a second. I've got the engine in it. I don't have the pipe, landing gears, that kind of stuff on it, but. Down here in the hole. Let's see here.
I would guess it's probably 40, 45 ounces as is. No pipe.
Let's see.
Because you know where I'm at. It's all about weight.
One 131.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Just a second. $39.92.
And you got a tank to go in it yet?
Well, I have a tank, but it's a metal tank.
Okay, let's figure out what it's going to be. $39.92, so we'll say it's 40. 2 for the tank, 3 for the wheels, 2 for the pipe. And what else we need in there? That's 45, 47.
To get the landing gear.
Yep.
Spinner.
Oh, spinner's 1. Prop 2. Plumbing 1, we'll say 1 on that. That's where the mystery ounces come in, is the tubing and the bullshit like that.
Oh, yeah.
But there'll be more mystery ounces than I'm giving you here. We got six on a finish. 42, 45, 47, 48, 51, 58 ounces. Yep, about 58 if you don't, well, maybe 59 because I forgot superfill and.
Yeah, there's no fillets or anything on it. The flaps haven't been shaped. The wires haven't been cut off on them to all, the final length.
You got the flaps on it?
Yeah, the flaps are on it. They just haven't been sanded. Everything's on it. All the nuts and bolts that hold anything on is on it. The motor's on it. The header's on it.
Just no pipe.
No pipe. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to use a pipe or a rear exhaust muffler.
Well, I can't make the decision for you.
Yeah, I know. Well, I haven't made the cutouts in the bottom of the fuselage for a pipe yet. So as I get closer, to in the finishing stages and stuff, I'll make a decision on whether or not the pipe, the header muffler that I have is just like the one you're using on your airplane.
Right. I think they're about an ounce.
They're identical.
The reason why I like it, that muffler, is it keeps all the weight forward of the center of gravity.
Yeah.
And it's not slung underneath the airplane.
It weighs 64 grams.
The pipe or the muffler?
The muffler with the header and the muffler.
Shit, I didn't think they were that heavy. Might have to sand them.
That's 2.3 ounces.
So what does a pipe weigh?
Let's see here. Here's the pipe. Pipe's got a coupler tubing on it.
Yeah.
2.5.
So about the same.
Yeah.
But the difference is the dispersal of weight. The pipe is slung under the airplane behind the center of gravity.
Yeah, which might be better than concentrated nose weight, depending on if you need the nose weight. Probably as I get further along, I'll be looking at that a little more on whether or not I want to move that weight to the nose or move that weight distributed, over the fuselage. That'll determine whether I use the pipe or the muffler.
Towards the nose is better because then you can always add paint.
True.
Because mine is 57 ounces and balance is where it should be. So what's that tell you?
Well, how long a nose do you have on your? You've also got
same as you. I also have a prop extension.
Prop extension, which I don't have, and I've got like 10 and a quarter inch nose movement.
And our airplanes are pretty much identical. I don't think the cowls will fit on each other, but
16 or 16 and a quarter or something like that tail movement, end line to end line.
Yep.
10-inch nose movement, basically. They're identical airplanes. The only difference between the two airplanes is I did a more conventional looking wingtip rather than the swoopy.
Yeah. I know.
which might make my wing have more area. Let's see what I got here for outboard wing panel from the side of the fuselage to the wingtip is 28 and a very light half.
Is that inboard or outboard?
That's outboard.
It's the same as mine.
My inboard tip is 29 and a half. There's an inch of symmetry.
Yeah, you got me there.
So 28, 29.
I only have a 1/2 inch of symmetry.
That's 57. And then I got the fuselage is
2 inches.
2 3/8. So it's almost like 59 and a half or something like that. Almost 6 inches.
Now my Junar that flies really good has a 58-inch wingspan.
Well, all you're going to get is more lift as long as you can keep the weight down. You could have 70-inch wingspan and you'll get a whole ship top full of lift. But
I really like those 75s, the way they run and the power that they have, but there's such a disadvantage with the weight. It's unsurmountable.
Well, I agree that you can't, there's no way that you can reduce that.
Well, the biggest thing that makes it heavier is, first, the motor's an ounce heavier, and second, it uses 2 ounces more fuel.
Well, my 65 runs 6, let's see, 5, 6, almost 7 ounces of fuel.
Yeah, but a 75 runs 8.
Yeah, or another ounce. I can get by sometimes on 6 3/4, and most of the time that's it. That's what it takes, on just about every average day.
AMA already has their hand out for renewing my license.
Yeah, I got mine in. I just got paperwork for a club charter, all that stuff that I got to get in. We had a meeting last Tuesday, club meeting.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
We're going to have a contest on the second weekend of August. And then FCM is 2 weeks after that. The Nats are before that, so that'll be a pretty good time period.
Well, if I'm moved back to St. Louis, I'll still come. But can I stay at your house?
I would imagine.
All right. Yeah, I don't want to pay for a motel here in Dayton.
Yeah, ain't no sense in that. So, yeah, I guess it's looking pretty good. I don't have, this wing has only doesn't even have 3 coats of dope on top of the silk span. It's pretty basic.
Is it shiny?
Yeah, it's shiny.
Yeah. Add another one.
But see, I started spraying it a lot quicker. I could have brushed on 2 more coats of dope on this. Instead of brushing them on, I started spraying.
Yeah.
And it's really looking pretty good. I mean, as far as covering and stuff goes and getting a base down on it.
What color are you going to paint it? White?
I have no idea. You know, I haven't even started thinking about a paint job.
Well, it's time now.
Yeah. Considering that's 75% just about of the airplane, as far as time and everything goes. I think I want to keep it sort of basic, but I want to have a little bit of flair to it. But that last one I did was a lot. I mean, it's got a lot of different colors and a lot of different aspects to the paint job that it really doesn't look like it, but it does.
The one with the checkerboards on it?
Yeah. You know, you really don't see those very well because they're that yellow. And it almost looks like they're invisible until you get up on it and really start looking at it. But I don't know. Might do that. I'm half decided on whether or not I'm going to do another Sunoco airplane or not. I might do a different one instead of Sunoco. Do something else.
Well, you like orange? Do a Gulf one.
Yeah, I could do that. I thought about that. The only big problem we have with any of this stuff, you know, is everything's been done. You know, it's really, really, really hard to come up with something that's original. You know, because if you look back in all the pictures, which I tend to do, I go through all my scrapbooks, all my pictures, and I start looking at paint, nothing but paint jobs. I don't care what the airplane is. I just looking at the paint job, and it's all been done.
Yeah.
Stripes, starbursts, checkerboards, you know, you name it, it's been done.
Well, I think I'm going to do my next one red because I got that real pretty red. I mean, it's beautiful. But I'm going to follow Walt Bray.
You're going to make a van?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like that myself. He did a beautiful job on those airplanes, but I don't think it's appropriate on those airplanes myself. But, you know, to each their own. I'm not going to deny anybody the fact of what they want to do. But all your regular airplane paint jobs have been taken before. You know, you can go back and look at your Reno Air Racers and all that stuff.
I'll tell you an airplane paint job I really liked, and he didn't get much credit for it, was Derek Barry's green one that he copied from the RC airplane.
Yeah, that was.
I thought for sure that was going to be concourse winner.
Yeah, it was a really nice airplane. I don't know why he didn't get it either. But it all depends on who them judges are, man, and what they like. You know, some judges don't like that stuff. Just like they don't like that race car. My Sunoco airplane is like a race car theme. You know, with sponsor stickers and stuff all over it. Stuff like that. I thought it looked good, you know. It looked like a, you know, Reno Air Racer or something with all their sponsor stickers all over them and stuff. And that's what I was trying to go for with, you know, Sunoco Gas being the sponsor. I thought it came out pretty good. And a lot of other people did too, but some people, they just don't like that look. It's yeah, in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
You know, whoever those judges are on that given day, on what they like, just like, you know, it happened years ago, just like all them guys built them Navy airplanes because the Navy was judging. And it garnered them a couple extra points, maybe more points while they were flying too. not just in appearance, but flying points because they're flying Navy airplanes.
Well, that's all part of the game.
So I mean, I know they say that this shouldn't happen, but you got to fly to the judges. Now, does this judge like really tight corners, or does he like swoopy new pattern corners? Or does he like big open maneuvers or tight smaller maneuvers? Does he like really low bottoms or real good bottoms?
You know why they changed the pattern to the big swoopy corners, right?
Well, weight.
Yeah, the airplanes aren't able to perform like a Fox 35 airplane.
No, and that's what you're trying. You're trying to make a big airplane do that as best you can, but it's unrealistic.
I'm getting there.
Look at how big these airplanes are. The airplane physically won't do it. Mother Nature says that.
I'm getting there.
Well, you can get close. I'm not saying it's not 100% possible, but I'm saying that it's more than likely not going to happen. But you can get as close as you can. The only way you can get that close is to go back to Nobler with a Fox 35, doesn't it? You got to have a motor that weighs 6 ounces, and you got to have an airplane that weighs, 25. You got 30-ounce airplane flying.
Yeah.
35-ounce airplane up and flying. You're not going to turn those corners. Hell, a combat plane doesn't turn the corner.
Back in the 60s, we were standing at Whittier Narrows, late 69, and Lou McFarlane came out with that shark, and we were all discussing that's the end of Stunt as we know it.
Yeah, well, that was sort of the breaking point, I suppose, because the first really big airplane with what do you have, a 46 in that thing to begin with?
Not a Vico, a Torpedo 45, I think.
Yeah. And then eventually, I think they all ended up with Super Tiger 60s in most of them. Nobody could build them light enough for a 40-size engine. It's a big airplane. I mean, that's a 60-inch wingspan airplane.
Yeah, I think they're ugly myself.
Tricycle landing gear, I don't know what his airplanes weigh.
I think it's an ugly airplane. I don't like the looks of it.
Well, yeah, it leaves a little bit to be desired. It's a little sort of plain. But it's a good airplane. I mean, if I had to choose between that, I don't know. Let's say, I don't know what compares to it.
Sig Magnum. Magnum's a better airplane.
Yeah, it probably is. But in the right hands.
A toilet seat is a good airplane.
Yeah, if Ted Fancher or somebody like that's flying, or Joe Gilbert or somebody like that, that's what. There's a lot of airplanes out there that have potential of being really top of the line airplanes, but don't get there because Joe Gilbert isn't flying them, or Derek Barry's not flying them, or one of those guys, Fancher or Hunt, or if one of those guys was flying your design, have more credentials.
Yeah, they will one day.
I mean, well, you know what I'm talking about. It's the name. You could have a perfectly good airplane that's every bit as good as an Impact or any of those top 10 airplanes. That's every bit as good as that, but it won't get any recognition because those guys aren't flying it.
Every year I say I'm going to try, to do, practice and do better. But the weather around here sucks, so we don't. But I'm going to try again this year.
Well, you get the same weather that we do here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. It just comes through St. Louis and blows into Dayton, and that's about it. So as far as that goes, it's just a day ahead of time.
One thing I do like about here is the field is only like hope it's okay. I posted on Stunt. Okay, yeah, great, Steve. One thing about Dayton here is that the field is only like 4 miles from my house here.
Yeah.
25 miles from St. Louis.
Yeah, well, it takes me, and I don't think it's too bad, it takes me right at about 20 minutes to make it to the flying field from my house. But that's traveling straight through the city. That's not, if I could get out on the highway and get there straight from the highway, I'd probably get there in 10 minutes. But to me, that's pretty good. Considering, there's so many places that you can't fly at anymore. Our biggest thing is our circles are getting old. They were put in back in the 70s.
I told you guys how to get them recovered for free, but nobody listened to me.
You're right. You could get them to go along with it, but I'll tell you what, it's not a cheap proposition.
Hey guys, let me explain this to the web listeners. I proposed an idea for the Dayton circles. We're right next to the airport, so the airplanes fly over the top of the circles. There's 2 giant circles. What an untapped space for advertising for Pizza Hut, Papa John's, whatever. They'd come in, repave your circle, and paint a giant pizza on it that could be seen from the air. With a coupon, maybe, see this circle from the air and receive $5 off or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it would probably work.
I know it would work, and I know I could sell it if I could figure out who to talk to.
You just got to get some CEO or something at Pizza Hut, but it's pretty astronomical cost-wise to do that.
Yeah, but you don't think they have the money to do it?
Yeah, but they're like stunt flyers. They're inherently cheap.
Yeah.
They'll spend millions of dollars on a TV ad, but
I think I could get him to do it.
I don't know what it would cost, but just to resurface those things would probably be
$30,000.
$30,000 anyway.
Yeah, and I'm sure Pizza Hut's got it.
So 2 circles, that's 60,000 plus. The paint job. It would be sweet, but we're starting to look into trying to get the cracks patched and stuff.
Well, don't let it get so bad that you're running duct tape over them like they do at the Nats.
Well, it's there now. It's to that point now. I mean, there's cracks that are, an inch and a half wide, and they'll swallow your hand, stick them down in there. But
the thing about the reason everything's decaying like this is that the interest is so far down. That's why nobody makes any control line motors. They don't want to gear up and tool up to make engines and only sell 5.
Yeah, well, the money's not there. Money rules everything. I would just assume almost to have 2 really nicely manicured grass circles that are like Joe Knoll.
Yeah, if you get grass circles like Joe Knoll, sure.
But we'd have to have a shed out there and a mower and a roller and all that stuff and try to keep the cars out of there. God, that'd be a mess. I mean, with all them weeds growing up around it and all that stuff, you know, you got all that crap blown in on it all the time.
For our YouTube listeners, I can't express how much you need to get to Joe Knoll and fly on those grass circles. It's better than concrete.
It's like flying on a putting green. That's exactly what they are. They're a putting green.
I've never seen grass circles that good.
Oh, that was just a delight. I mean, that's better than pavement.
Yep. Because if you stick it, you won't kill your engine.
Pretty much. And it's so nice. I can't say the location that they got that in down there is the best spot, but
it'd be good if they built a motel on site.
Yeah, they need that. I think it's over an hour drive to the nearest motel, and they normally have something else going on in town, so it's always booked up. Yeah, so you got to camp on site, but he does have showers there on site, which is nice. But it's still primitive, you know, unless you got a big motorhome.
Yeah, we lucked out when Jerry was alive.
Yeah, you know, otherwise you'd be camping in the tent. You know, taking a shower down there at the shower house. It's a really nice place. I mean, the shower house is beautiful. The gazebos are great.
I tell people that the gazebo looks like it was built by a cabinet maker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it's so overbuilt.
Right.
I mean, instead of 4x4s, they're like 8x8s and everything. And it's all, you know, just heavy duty with steel roofs. And
that ain't shit lumber in there either. It's hardwood.
No, hell no. That's good stuff. That concrete floors, you know, poured concrete floors, not some cheap ass stuff. All done with a super fine finish on it. Place is huge. Dude's got, what is that? The world's largest grass runway?
It's the longest grass runway in the United States.
In the United States. Place is huge. It's got 2 or 3 ponds out there, so they fly float planes and all that stuff. They have a big nighttime thing with the big 3D airplanes, and they're touching their rudders in the pond, and got big spotlights on them.
That's right, Gary. Every modeler must go to Joe Knoll at least once.
They fly them little art things with lights all over them halfway through the night. There's only 5 or 6 of them things up in the air after dark.
After dark, all night long. 3, 4.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't stop.
Pretty much. It's a good time. I mean, it's a really, really good time.
Anybody goes to Joe Knoll goes there to fly, and they fly their ass off.
Yeah. That's what it's for. So.
And the barbecue is great too. They think they served 30,000. I know it's on my video. 30,000 barbecue meals.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was a bunch. You didn't just have barbecue that you could go through either. You could go through different things. One had chicken, one had barbecue, and one had hot dogs and hamburgers. So you could pick and choose how you wanted to eat that dinner. A little bit pricey, but isn't anything anymore. You know, look at what it costs you just to go down to McDonald's or something anymore.
Yeah, our $10 lunch now costs almost 30.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brandon.
I
see gas is up over $3 a gallon now.
Yeah, I saw 3.26 or something. Where was I at? I was down in Centerville or something like that. $3.26 a gallon.
3.19 here.
Wow. That's about what it is around my house. Which get over into the if you go over into the 4 end of town, it's even higher.
Which doesn't make sense.
Well, you know, everybody's going in there buying $5 worth of gas because they're poor, you know, or $10 worth of gas, you know, and the people in the rich end of town are filling up their tanks.
Yeah, because they're cheaper.
You know, so they're more volume of gas, the cheaper the price is.
I always fill up no matter what, except for in Illinois. When I have to go home, I stop in Pocahontas and I get my breakfast. That's the best place to eat breakfast, Pocahontas, Illinois. And Illinois has the highest gas price, and I only put in enough to get back to St. Louis, which is about 3 gallons.
Yeah.
Then I fill up in St. Louis.
Yeah, well, gas prices have always been cheaper in St. Louis for some reason. I don't know why, but
we have more roads and better and cheaper gas prices, less taxes.
I think you got less taxes.
Yep.
So, you know, they don't have all the sin taxes and everything that everybody else has got, but...
Did you see Missouri authorized the use of gold as money?
Really? Why wouldn't it be?
Well, you can't go to Walmart and say, I want to buy that, and here's some gold here.
Well, how do they do it?
I guess they got a scale, whatever, and they weigh it up.
Keep up on the gold prices every day, and it's only worth this much today, but yesterday it was worth $5 more.
Everybody thinks Missouri's backwards, but it's ahead of the curve as far as I'm concerned. No to state issued ID or government issued ID, that you don't have to have that real ID crap. Of course, you do if you want to get on an airplane, but that's TSA, that's federal. You know,
that's a combination passport, driver's license sort of thing.
I ain't going nowhere, so I don't need a passport.
You know, but I think that's for flying within the United States too.
Yeah, you can't fly without that.
You know, which is bullcrap. You know, that's freedom of movement. You know, the Constitution guarantees you the right of freedom of movement. Supposedly.
Yeah, everybody was whining about, you know, the House not having a speaker. I think it's great. The more they were out, the less they were infringing on our rights.
Yeah, you know, I'm not exactly for the government shutting down, but it wouldn't hurt.
Hey, the government shutdown does not affect anything. Everybody gets their Social Security checks. That's in the law. Everybody, you know, all those things are all going to come. It only affects about 12% of the government, like parks personnel and Capitol Police. I don't know whether Capitol Police get shut down, but you know what I mean?
They probably wouldn't, and the government won't shut down. You know, that's a misnomer. You know, the government doesn't shut down just because that bill doesn't get passed.
Right.
You know?
Everybody gets paid no matter what. Even all them guys who don't do anything in Congress, they all get paid. They just get paid a little later when the government reopens. So
yeah, that's it.
If you're making $175,000 a year and you haven't saved up enough to last a month or whatever, how long you're overspending.
Pretty much. You know, they got 2 or 3 houses. You know, they got a house in their state they live in. They got a house up in Washington, which is super, super expensive. You know, I don't see how it'd be so damn expensive up there when you right outside the White House, you got bums laying all over the streets.
Yeah.
Crack houses right across the street from the White House. I've been there.
I've been there too.
Yeah, it was like that back then. You know, they said don't wander over in that area, and that's just across the street. I said, I stick right here on the sidewalk. That was before they put up all the barricades and everything around the White House and stuff.
You think I can build this wing in a weekend? In
a weekend, you'd be hard pressed.
I got I got the ribs cut for 1/2, and I'm hollowing them out right now.
What do you mean, having a kit already made up?
No, I have it put together.
No, but having a kit already cut and all that stuff.
Well, I'm cutting it now. I'm hollowing ribs right now.
I don't see why you can't.
I only
If you
got
got all the pieces, if you got all the pieces, all the ribs sanded and hollowed and all that crap, and all you got to do is set it in the jig and start gluing things together, you can do it in a weekend.
I don't have them all cut yet. I only have half of them cut.
Well, that takes a lot of time. That's your most time-consuming part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Sanding them down to shape and then hollowing them all out. Hollowing them all out probably takes longer than sanding them to shape does.
Definitely. I'm sitting here right now, and I just about got one wing hollowed.
Yeah, I have to get myself in the right mindset to even sit down and do that because it's so boring. That's why I got that other Geo wing only to the section that it's at. Is I'm switching between 3 different airplanes, and I'm trying to get this one up to covering, and I got that wing built to where it's ready for the leading edge sheeting and putting the controls in and stuff, and I just haven't reached it.
Now the wing that's in that model, that's this wing here, right? That's not a SV wing.
No, not an SV. I built I got an SV wing sitting there.
Yeah, I know.
That is ready to cover. And I got that other Geo wing sitting there that's built, but it doesn't have the leading edge sheeting on it or the cap strips. And it's that far, and then I got this one which is covered and has. It probably got 5 coats of dope on it if you consider the 3 coats on the wood prior to the covering, I still got to cover all the fuselage, the stab, the elevators, flaps. Still got to cover all that yet with silk span. But yeah, there's a lot. It's a lot of work.
Did you use tautening or non-tautening?
On the base, tautening.
Yeah, I still got some tautening dope over there, right?
I think you do. I don't know. I don't know what's on the shelf, to be honest with you. I haven't really looked.
I got lots of shit over there.
All I see is a partial of color.
I know there's gray over there.
That's white. Partial thing of white.
I think that white is gray.
Bunch of little bottles of stuff floating around.
Quartz and stuff over there.
The gallon you got is a partial gallon of white.
It's gray.
Is it gray?
Yeah.
Well, all right, it's gray.
I think that's Thunderbolt gray. That's that special mix that I did. And that looks pretty cool when it's cleared in the sun.
Yeah, it's a good looking color. It's probably one of the lightest ways to paint your airplane.
Yeah, but it's gray as funky.
Well, you got to do a military theme.
Yeah, kind of plain.
Limited on your paint scheme because of that.
Of course, the original Shark 45 was gray.
True. It's just so plain Jane, I mean, you paint a gray airplane, it looks just like any other military out there, aircraft, just blah. Yeah, that SV, I got that SV. I got the flaps are cut and hinged and all that stuff. I got the fuselage just built.
Why'd you lose interest in it?
Time.
I know, but you had that going before you got your tuner going.
the reason why I wanted to do that is I'm trying to make sure I have a backup for everything. I've already got 2 SVs out there I can fly at any time, and I wanted 2 Geos.
Now let me ask you this: when you flew your Liberty, what did you think of the performance of the basic layout of the airplane?
Well, so far from what I know of it, it flies good. You know, I can't say exactly because I've only got a handful of flights on it.
Was the turn better than the SV?
I don't know. They're pretty comparable airplanes, you know. Either one of those airplanes, SV is a proven design, and it'll work. And your airplane is a proven design. It works.
Yeah.
So what it amounts to is they do fly a little different. You know, just by virtue of the different dimensions on them and stuff. But
how much is your Sunoco airplane? I mean, your Liberty weigh? 62.
62.
Yeah, you cut that down to 50. In the 50s, 50, it'll perform better.
Well, that's what track I'm on here. And I tell you, it's not paint weight on that airplane either. It's
wood weight.
Wood weight, because I got a 6-ounce finish on. I kept real close tabs on that. It's 6 or 6 1/4 ounce finish.
Well, when I come over, I'll bring my Aegis Junar XL or whatever, and you'll be surprised how good it looks.
I don't doubt it. I know what's went into it so far anyway, so.
I would say that the paint job on it is comparable to the Monado. The only thing it doesn't have is gold leaf.
I don't know if gold leaf's all that. It's nice. It's a good wow factor. What would really look good is if the gold leaf was machine turned.
Yeah, I can do that now. Couldn't do it with the dope sizing.
And if you get all your machine turning all on straight lines and everything, that makes or breaks it.
Yeah.
You can't just have a willy-nilly pattern in it. And that's tough to do. I mean, to do that in a straight line on all that lettering and stuff would be a royal pain in the butt. I don't know if I'd want to delve into that or not.
Yeah, but you know me, when I get locked on something, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's.
I might add one more thing to my Aegis before the Nats, and that's a Vico decal.
A Vico decal?
Yeah, up there where the skunk is on the nose.
You're going to have a 500 decal on there, Vico 500? Isn't that what they did? Didn't they have that decal that you broke 500 in your score? You got a Vico 500 decal or something like that?
I don't remember. But that'd be good. I've had many 500 pointers.
Yeah.
At the Nats, so it's official.
Well, yeah, that's what it has to be. Otherwise you're faking it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't get 500 at a local contest and say you get scored 500 because it's a lot different.
I got robbed at FCM last year. Scott beat me by a point or two or whatever.
Yeah, 1 point.
Yeah, they hosed me, but that's okay.
Well, Bill was saying something about hoping that he gets 15 or 16. I think maybe said 17 points for his airplane, but I give it about a 12.
Everybody on his at FCM everybody gets 18. They give appearance points, but they don't judge them, which doesn't make sense.
Well, during all that big conflict and everything over appearance points, they started going towards, just a concourse. A pilot's choice or something like that instead of award points that affect the score.
Yeah, because everybody's so damn lazy, they don't want to build nothing.
Yeah, there's good and bad to that. The theory is okay. Because it takes appearance points out of the flying points.
Yeah, but this is a modeling sport, not a flying sport. If you want to do that at FBI.
Yeah, well, I'm all pro, boom. I like boom. I think it should be in there because it promotes building and finishing and painting and all that stuff, and it makes you strive for something. When you take that away from it, it's just a toy thing. It's a toy airplane, a money thing. Whoever can afford the most expensive airplane, wins the concourse or whatever, and gets the trophies for concourse, which it didn't do anything. Buy and fly. When you crash it, you throw it in the trash bin and you order another one from the factory. And I don't think squirting on a bunch of little trim colors on an airplane makes you the builder of the model, I know the paint job takes a lot, but it's the building underneath the paint job that shows craftsmanship.
Paint job, it takes me longer to finish one than it does to build one.
Well, yeah, 90% of that is sanding.
Yeah.
You're just sanding paint, making it shiny. But you got to have a flat surface to put that on, and a nice surface underneath of it. That's why me and you scored that red airplane. I can't remember that guy's name. Gunderson's. Beautiful airplane.
Yeah.
That plain Jane as you can get. That airplane is so plain, it's pathetic, but it's beautiful.
Yep.
Because the woodwork underneath of it was beautiful, and he did a really good job of putting the paint on it. Beautiful. But it's just all red with a little bit of black.
Well, so is my Monado.
But your Monado's got the gold leaf and that stuff on it, that breaks that plain Jane sort of look. We both told him over there that if you just added some accent to it,
I was the only airplane on the front row this year that had a pilot.
That's good for a point.
I don't see how, but
because you sacrificed the weight and the effort to put a pilot in it. It doesn't take nothing to paint a black canopy or a green or blue or yellow or whatever canopy. It takes a lot more effort to paint up a pilot, make sure the canopy's clear and get it glued on right, blended in right.
That's why I basically lost interest in the Continental, and I got to fix that, is that fogged canopy from the CA.
Yeah, that sucks.
I mean, otherwise, that's a nice airplane.
Can't put CA on the canopy. You can't mount the canopy with CA. You can't fix the canopy glue joint with CA. You'll always get down in it and screw it up.
I used epoxy to glue that on. I don't know how that fog got in there.
I don't know. it could have been coming from inside the fuselage somewhere, where it was still gassing off in there or whatever. I had one that I spent meticulous time on trying to get the dust and everything out of it. Went out and set it down there, had dust all over inside of it. I sealed every single joint, crack, thing. And once it's in there, you can't get it out.
That's why you're supposed to put a piece of double-sided tape inside there.
I've tried putting cigarette filters, all sorts of shit to keep them from fogging up, and I still get dust in them, or still get fog in them, or whatever. It just depends on the weather. There's a hole somewhere in that airplane that goes in there. And just I guess the grain in the wood inside the airplane.
It's better than having your pilot's head snap off and float around in there.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that. I've never had that happen yet.
Gary Hayjack has.
I use silicone to glue my pilots in with. I drill a couple holes in the base plate, 2 or 3 holes in the base plate, 2 or 3 holes in the bottom of the pilot, and I make sure it keys itself in there with silicone, and it won't come out of there. I guarantee you, it will not come loose. You don't have to bolt them or anything like that. Our Rape used to bolt them in there.
Yeah, more hardware like Bill. What do you have in it? 6 or 8 ounces of hardware in an airplane?
Yeah. We weighed it up here at the house that one day is 7.5 ounces of lead and nuts and bolts and screws and plates and whatnot. That's just bolts, nuts and bolts and screws and lead. I'm like, damn.
Be one thing if the airplane was a 20-pointer, but they looked like they were sanded with a rock, and the wood was cut with an axe.
Bless his heart, he tries, but he doesn't. He just doesn't have the gumption to go that extra mile. I asked him the other day. I says, "Have you ever tried Superfill? What's that?" I said, "That's that blue stuff that Brodex sells." I said, "You need to get some of that from Wix and start using it." And I'm trying to get these guys to do it, and they're all thinking it's like epoxylite. Remember that stuff?
Oh yeah, I used epoxylite.
And it sounds like a rock. If you don't get it on how you want it, that's it.
It doesn't taste very good either.
No, it doesn't. When you lick your finger and rub it.
That's what I used to do with epoxylite.
Yeah, I've done that many a time myself.
Until I found out that lacquer thinner works much better.
You taste that shit for a week afterwards. But yeah, Superfill's the way to go with anything. It's so light. I think it's a lot lighter than epoxylite. A lot lighter.
Yeah, a lot.
And it sands so much nicer. I mean, hell, it's as close to sand and balsa wood as you can get without it being balsa wood.
I think it sands easier than balsa wood.
And yet it's hard. If you take that stuff out of the tub, you take that stuff out of the tub, it'll break like a rock.
Yep.
You flex that flexible little mixing cup that you put it in, and you watch it crack. It's harder than epoxy. But I know it's epoxy based of some type, but it doesn't have a lot of flex to it or anything like that, like you would think, being so light.
Okay.
I've tried micro balloons and finishing resin, and it works pretty good if you get enough micro balloons in it. So you got to put so doggone much micro balloons that you put like 2 little dime-sized pieces of epoxy, and you've got half a cup of micro balloons into it. It sands pretty good too, but it's not as strong as Superfill.
What did you say that all your balsa wood weighed that you cut out of the ribs?
An ounce.
We're gonna weigh this should be half a wing should be half an ounce.
I took all the pieces and put them in a jar as I cut them out.
I should have a half an ounce of wood here. We'll see.
Well, it depends on what weight wood you're building out of, too. You know, I'm building out of 5.5 pound, almost 6 pound wood. You know, but if you're building out of 4 pound wood, that stack will weigh less, but it's still a substantial amount.
Yeah.
I took every single little circle that I cut out with my brass tubing. I put all the main pieces that I cut out after I did the brass tubing thing on them. I put every single piece of that into a little pan.
Yeah, we're gonna see what all this shit weighs right now. I got one more slot to cut here, and
that was 3/32 inch balsa wood.
that's what I use for wings.
All the ribs were 3/32.
It gives you much more substantial area than 16th. I like it a lot better. Okay.
Well, yeah, I do too. Now that I started switching from 16th to that, it's a little bit easier to handle it, you know, without busting things up. Just handling it.
Okay, let's see what all this crap weighs. Where's my scale?
You got some glue surface there, you know. I don't think I could build, although I have, pull a big airplane out of 16th, and I've got a couple of them. But you got to be so accurate on everything. It's pathetic. Zero standing room.
Well, I can see there's this substantial weight savings already. I haven't got all the circles on it yet, but we're up to 6 grams with the big pieces on there. So
yeah. And you don't have all your ribs done?
Just one side.
Yeah, that's what I mean, but you don't have all of them cut out and all that.
They're all cut out, outboard.
Yeah.
Got 8.
Yeah, I made sure I saved every little piece off them ribs that I cut out.
We're up to 8 grams so far. Let's see. It's probably going to be 10 grams.
If you're using sub 5 pound wood, you probably did on your ribs. You probably used 4.5 pound wood.
Lightest stuff I had.
Probably be about 10 grams. See, 14 is a half an ounce. So,
ah, shit. Get it on. The stupid scale went off. I hate this Harbor Freight scale.
I got one that isn't Harbor Freight, and it does the same damn shit if you don't touch it.
Okay, that's 0, and we knock all this off here. 8 grams. Oh well. 8 grams for all them cutouts, but it's worth it. I mean, 8 and 8 is 16. That's a half an ounce.
It's a substantial amount. You know, I don't care how you look at it. That's a substantial amount of weight. Yeah, 3/4 of an ounce. It's a lot. Yeah, you got to look. You know this as well as I do. You got to look at it as in grains.
Right.
You can't look at it as grams or ounces or anything like that. You got to look at grains as you're building. You know, each individual piece. Do I have a piece of scrap over there that weighs a lot lighter than this piece I'm cutting this little cap strip out of? It doesn't seem like much.
But you do it 30 times, it's an ounce.
Yeah. Yeah, it all adds up in the end. Yeah, that's a little bit here, a little bit there.
We got 18 watchers. Been on an hour.
It's pretty tough.
What do you think about this? For landing gear clips, I'm going to use this 32nd with 64th ply on each side.
No.
Why no?
For the legs?
No, where you glue the block into.
Where you glue the block into.
Yeah, that you glue the block to secure the landing gear block in.
Yeah, the flat plate that you glue in.
Normally there's 16th plywood or.
I use light plywood.
Well, I'm making my own light ply.
Yeah, it'll probably work. The only thing you got to try to do is make it thick enough to where, your blind nuts don't protrude.
No. The rib. The rib that the clips go in.
Well, I don't know.
What do you use?
I use, the thickness of the rib, which
right.
is 3 seconds, and I use about a 3/32" light plywood doubler.
Well, I'm going to put 16th light ply on each side of the thickness of the rib. That'll work.
It's probably strong enough, but I'm looking at thickness for gluing surface area.
Well, you'll have 1/8 of an inch.
But yeah, but
3/32 plus
64th.
No, it's 32nd because there's 64th on each side, so that's 1/8 of an inch thick. It's like be like putting 1/8 inch light ply rib in there. Well, that's what I'm going to do.
I don't leave the balsa wood rib out. I leave the balsa wood rib in.
Right, so am I.
And that gives you almost, shy of
1/8 of an inch. I'm just getting it a little different.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably all right.
That's what I'm going to do.
You have to make it up and see, how stiff and everything it is.
I think that's what's in my Aegis. And we're not going to make the mistake I made on that. I won't say what it is, but you know what it is.
I know what it is, but yeah, it's
I'm going to remeasure.
Yeah, it's a funky thing. It has to do with how the ribs are laid out. You should have thought a little more clearly on that line when we laid out the angles for the Warren Truss ribs.
No, it's correct. That's how Hunt does his.
Yeah, but each wing has different because you have that asymmetry.
Yeah, but it won't be when I remeasure the spot for it.
It won't be, but that's what causes the problem is the asymmetry.
Yeah.
Then you get, if you put it centered on those two ribs on both sides, and one side's a different measurement on the side of the fuselage. So we lay out another geodetic rib wing and do another foam cutting, we could take that into account on the rib layout.
Yeah.
And then it would line up on those two ribs that come together up there equal span off the side of the fuselage, 7 inches or whatever it is, or 8 inches, or instead of 7.5 on one side and 8 on the other. When the wing plate is equal spaced.
Yeah.
But you could just offset that wing plate and do the same thing, but it doesn't structurally load those two ribs the same. We need to think about that. You know, I did that on an airplane, and I went through all that math and everything to figure out the angle and the mangle and dangle and all that stuff, all the ribs, to make sure the tip rib came out the same on both wing tips, you know. That's normally where everybody runs into. They go ahead and make them all out there, and then they see it when they do that last rib at the wingtip. Well, shoot, this was have any gap, and that one's got an inch gap. What's wrong with this picture?
I've been watching these cabinet making videos on YouTube, and I'll tell you what, the tricks that I learned from the cabinet making videos have helped on model airplanes.
Sure.
I never thought about joining a piece of balsa wood, but I did it just like you would a piece of plywood, and it worked perfect.
How you joining it? You know, a lap joint's stronger than a butt joint.
No, I'm not talking about that. A joiner that cuts a perfect 90 on the edge. A planer, that's what. No, first you got to join it, then you got to plane it.
Yeah, joiners for the edges and the planers for thickness.
Right.
You know, so you make everything square. It's
all the same.
It all comes out in the wash. It just depends on how much sanding you want to do.
Yeah, I know how much sanding you want to do.
Well, the more accurate you are in the cut, the less sanding that you got to do. But also, you know, the more time it takes. Everything's a trade-off.
I'm going to sand that bevel in this piece of trailing edge. I'm going to use 3/16 for trailing edge.
What kind of aluminum you guys got work?
I don't know.
Got any 1/4 inch or 3/16 inch by 1 inch?
No.
I'll never use anything like that.
No.
How about 1/8 inch sheet?
Small amounts.
Can you get some cutoffs that I can make some motor mount pads out of?
Oh yeah, I can pre-cut those, right? You know, whatever, cut them close, 1/2 inch thick, 1/2 inch wide.
Well, I can strip them. That's not a problem.
I'm talking about the only way I can get them is to shear them. So
curl all up.
Right. So if I cut them 1/2 inch wide, you can mill them 3/8. Or if I cut it 5/8 wide, you can mill them 3/8, whatever. But I got it.
I'll just run it through the bandsaw.
Okay. Well, I'll see if I can get you a piece.
You know, 1/2 inch or 3/8 or whatever motor mounts are with, and then mill the edges flat so they look good. Take all the saw cuts out of them. You know, so cutting it's not a problem. I just need a piece of 1/8 inch plate about 1 foot square or something, or 6 inches by 2 foot or whatever kind of cut.
Whatever we got, because we don't got a lot of aluminum.
You know, it don't matter how, as long as the pieces are big enough to get a motor mount pad out of. You know.
You basically work in black steel.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I see when I was doing rigging and stuff. That's what I used to run around. When I had any spare time, I was out looking for cutoffs that were trash, that were hobby-sized pieces of stuff, whether it's brass or aluminum or magnesium or whatever I could get. You know, even steel. You know, I just look for little cutoffs and stuff that I know we're going to go in the trash. You know, they they throw a lot of bigger stuff away that I couldn't get my hands on because the trash man already come and got it.
These blocks are 1 inch down to 1/16 by 4 long.
That's pretty nice.
And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. 16th, then this one is 3/32. This one here is 1/8. That's 3/16, quarter, half, 3/4, and 7/8. And then laid on its side, it's 1 inch.
Well, don't use them for sanding blocks.
No, I am. I'm using it to cut the spar notch in. Got a piece of sandpaper stuck to it.
Oh, well, yeah, you're putting a piece of sandpaper on them.
Yeah.
I just make a piece. I make a depth gauge on mine. I noticed that you weren't doing that. You didn't have that on your little sanding thing for your spar notches, but
no, I got the foam to stop it. You're not going to sand any farther than the foam.
Well, I understand that, but you keep saying you keep making enough ribs off that same template, you eventually, cut it away.
Well, same with the outside. The dimension on the outside.
Yeah, I know it would, but
probably need to put polyacrylic on them things.
Yeah, it'll make them last longer. Or white glue. A lot of guys did it with just Elmer's glue.
Yeah.
And let it dry, or finishing resin, anything, and then do a good sanding them so they're nice and smooth. And that keep you from sanding your foam away.
Probably should coat the cradle too.
Yeah, I know mine's got a bunch of holes in it where the super glue went down and hit it.
Yeah, I got that too.
Just melts it away like it's nothing. Even the hard stuff, even the hard foam, the 2-pound foam.
Yeah. That's what this cradle is, 2 pound.
Yeah, I don't have any more of that stuff. I'm all out. I don't have enough to make any wings out of. I hate to use that 3/4 pound foam to do a lost foam thing. I need to go down to my foam guy and see about getting some 2 or 3 pound foam for lost foam jigs.
Well, I'll go in halves with you.
I have to go down there and see what he's got. He might not even have it, He deals with everything that's from way too soft to way too hard. He's got a little bit of everything. He gets these big blocks in there that are about 12 foot long and 4 foot square. I've seen blocks in there as big as a car. Just one big solid block of foam. But he orders that stuff in for his contracts, and then when I come in there and get stuff, I'm getting fall, stuff that he's got left over from a contract.
Right.
That way I get a little bit cheaper price on it, because I'm not ordering, it's still virgin foam. It's not no grind or anything like that. Can you hold for a second?
Yeah, I'm probably going to get off of here, John.
Okay, I got a phone coming in.
All right, talk to you later.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye. All right, that was phone call with John. So we had Saturday at John's without John. Now I'm going to cut a piece of trailing edge stock and get this on there, which I've never done before. I usually don't do it this way, but I'm shooting for perfect. So in order to get perfect, we got to think ahead. We're going to make up that trailing edge piece before I glue everything down so everything touches perfectly. Let me get rid of these scraps. We know we're going to lose a 1/2 ounce out of the wing. Let me get a bag. for some more trash bags, it looks like. Okay. Now we want to cut. This is the short wing, so we need. Let's see which end it is. This is the hard end. This is the soft end. This is the milled end. We need to cut this thing right here. I hate to do that. It's just so damn long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand a slight angle on this and then mill it to shape. So that would go on. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and cut that anyway. Let me get my favorite tool. Where did I do with it? There it is. We're going to cut it that long. That looks about right. Make it a little longer. Okay. We got plenty now. Okay, so I want to check the angle, which is this way, and that would go on like so. So we need how much overhang we need there. Okie dokie. Let's set this stripper. All right, let's, what is that? Use our setup block to get that on there straight. 3/16. Yeah. Mhm. Tack this here. Tack that there. And we'll take this off. Man, these were a good idea to buy these. See if I can keep from screwing them up. Perfectly straight. That's just good. Let me get something to drink here. We got 20 watchers and 21 likes. Somebody's sleeping. Hit that thumbs up button, guys. Okay. Let's cut that off. And get some glue out of this thing. Now, use the sanding bar. This is this edge here. Let's see, it goes that way. Sanding bar like that. Come on, get under there. You know what? Just take all this off. We'll reset that. We'll reset it so it's perfect. I normally don't go through all this trouble, but the thing is that I got so much time before. I mean, I don't have to have this airplane done this year at all. Okay. So this one goes here. Pin it. Pin it. Okay. And then we need the R10. We need this one. Okay, that sets the trailing edge. R9. Yep, just learned something new myself here. This is a better way to do it. I'll leave this float. Leave that float. Touch the trailing edge here. Seven. Yeah, they're almost all out of there, so that's good. Remember what I said, if it ain't touching something, you don't need it. So we might as well make all this stuff touch and be nice tight joints. You know, if it's off just a pen width, it's not perfect. So by doing it this way, it will be 100% perfect. Yeah, it won't be perfect like that though. Ribs upside down. Don't make that mistake. Now, why does that touch? What's the story? R5, see what happens here. Maybe I cut that rib wrong. Yeah. R4. There it is. Three. Two. That's what it is. There we go. Okay. What's the story here, Larry? Now, why doesn't this one fit perfect? Ah. There we go. Okay, and I had one out here that wasn't quite perfect. Was it this one? Pretty damn close, but not perfect. That means I either sanded wrong or cut it wrong. So we need to take it, trim this off. And even a 64th will kind of screw you up. There we go. What the hell, my finger stuck to it. "16 watchers." Okay. That looks pretty bueno. Now we need to pin that spar down. I might go over John's tomorrow and cut some plywood on his jigsaw, scroll saw, whatever you want to call it. It's just tough to go over there on Sunday because I don't get back till 5 o'clock, and then it seems like I got to go to sleep and go to work. So I like Saturdays. Perfect. Any questions? Now the next thing we need is a small square. So we're going to use this. And we'll make a square. Uh, 37%. I better get a charger on that. 'Cause about that thick. You'll notice everything I've done, I mean, it's super nice to have power tools. But once you know the sequence of how to do this stuff, you can do it all with hand tools. You don't need anything fancy. There's that one. We need to relieve that slightly. I cut maybe 5/1000ths off the end of that, and it should move it back so it's touching. Yeah. There we go. They don't want to just glue these ribs in willy-nilly because that changes your airfoil. It also makes waves in the sheeting. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to break for lunch. And when I come back, we'll finish this side of the wing. And then the next video will be starting the other side, and we'll get this all together. The two halves together with no sheeting should be 2.5 ounces. With the sheeting on it, it should be 5 ounces. So we're going to glue, I should probably glue up some sheet and get it ready to get in the tub. I have that Rockler steamer, but I have yet to build a steam box. But I like the way this came out, doing the trailing edge first. And how I used to do this is I would put these ribs in, eyeball it, and then put this piece on. This is the correct way to do it. This is much better. Get it glued up first. And then when I get all this glued, I'll take that sanding bar and sand the slight bevel in this so that the sheeting, when it goes on, mates perfectly with the rib. They're right at the top of the rib now, but they need to be angled down on the back ever so slightly so the sheeting can flow over the trailing edge, if you get my drift. Well, that about covers it for this video. We've been on a little over 2 hours. And it's pretty tough. Yeah, 2 hours and 15 minutes. I would strongly suggest, I'm sure you guys do some type of woodwork at home. This is for setting routers and saws. But get this saw setup gauge. They're not very expensive, $35. That way, like right there, I have 3/16 edge sticking out all the way. That's a good deal. Of course, then I can cut the 3/16 spar. I can sand the 3/16 notch with these. I hadn't intended on doing that with these. I intended on using them just for. I have some cabinets I'm going to build at home underneath my workbench so that I got storage place. So I'm buying some equipment to do that with, and I had intended on using them just for setup blocks. But on the drive back from picking them up at the Amazon storage locker, I said, you know what? I can use those to measure this shit with. So that's just a helpful little tip. If I was an Amazon affiliate, I'd leave a link in the description, but I'm not an affiliate with anybody. Nobody sponsors me. It's all member supported by the super chats and the members of this channel. We do have some advertising on it, but you wouldn't believe how little you get paid for that. I suppose you'd make a lot if I had 1 million people, but I don't. All right, we'll be back with take 5, couple hours. Fair winds, tight lines. See ya.